Hello everyone, welcome back to the AI series. And in the last video we understood what is the architecture of the LLM, right? So we got to know about the LLM and now we are going to implement the LLM. So here we are not going to create a LLM model and training that model. Simply we are going to use the existing LLM models for our use cases. Whatever output we want from the LLMs, for that we'll be going to create a project here. So what is our project high level is, this is a resume analyzer. We are going to analyze the resume. So this is a high level architecture we are going to build here. Okay, first we'll have a resume file, or we can take anyone's resume here, and we'll extract that text from the resume, and then we'll send that data to the LLM, and LLM will do the structured analysis for our resume. And then at the end, that LLM will send us the response for the resume score, eligible jobs, whatever the improvement suggestions are there, right? So we'll get these output from the LLM. Okay, so in our case here, what LLM is doing is, it is acting as a evaluator or advisor for us. It is going to advise us, right, what are the eligible jobs for us and what are the improvement suggestions for us, right? So it will going to give us the response for as a advisor. And now what is this, why this architecture we are using here? So we'll have some files. If we'll directly send that files to LLM, they'll not understand, right? So for that, what we have to do is, we have to take that data, or we have to extract that data from the PDF file and give it to the LLMs, right? So they'll just work on the text. So we need a pipeline for this. We have to extract their data, then LLMs will be analyzing that data. At the end, we'll be going to get the responses from that. So what we have to do is here, okay, so we'll go to the VS Code here. Okay, so before that, what we have to do is, we have to create a folder. Okay, you can make it as a resume checker, AI resume, smart resume, whatever you want, but that name will be meaningful or relevant to our requirement. Okay, so we'll create this folder, and inside this we'll just go to the path. Okay, if you'll see here, I am in this path, right? So we have to go inside this path, and this is the resume checker. Okay, so we'll run this python -m venv command. This command, what it will do, it will create a virtual environment for us. Why we want a virtual environment? So we want an isolated Python environment for our project. That's why we are going to use this virtual environment. And after, when we'll have this virtual environment, we'll see this .venv folder in our project structure. When we'll have this venv folder structure, we need to activate this one. So here we are activated this. Using this command, we activated the virtual environment. When that virtual environment is activated, we can see this .venv. So it means we are inside the virtual environment now. So after that, we have to install the dependencies. So when we'll be installing this dependency, right, we have fast API. So fast API means this is going to be the API framework which we are going to use here. Okay, and UVCon means what are the server, right? Server dependencies will be here. Then Python multipart, this is the file upload. We are going to upload that file, right? So this is the Python multipart. Then we have .env. .env means environment variable. So we are going to use the environment files as well. Then we'll have Google Gen AI. Okay, so this Google Gen AI, this is for the Gemini LLM. We are going to use the Gemini LLM. So for that, we need Google Gen AI dependency. And the PDF plumber. Plumber means it will go and read the PDF files. If we are giving the PDF files, right, so it will go and read that PDF file. Then Python docs. Then Python docs means it will go and read the documents. Okay, now we know we have to generate the key, because this environment file, right, we have to, sorry, yeah, so if we'll have to create the environment file where we need the API key. So how we can generate it, these APIs key, we'll see it. Yeah, so we have to go to the this link. This is the Google's link. We have to go here, and we can log in on this one. When we'll be log in this one, we'll see window like this, and when we'll see this window, inside that one we have to go for the get API key. When we'll be clicking on this get API key button, then we can see this window. This is the next window we'll see here, and then from here we have to click on the create API key button. When we'll be clicking on the create API key button, we'll see another window where we can see this name of the key, imported project. So for default I make it as a Gemini API key and default Gemini project. If you want to change it, you can change this as well. Then we have to click on the create key button. When we'll click on this create key button, it will generate a key for us, and we have to save this key to somewhere, because we are going to use that key for our project, and that key is a password for us. So that is a secret key which we'll not share to others, because if you'll see, this is also as a password, right? If we are entering any password to our phones, then we'll be that phone is accessible for us if we put that password there. So no one will come and use our password, because that is a secret for us. Same here, if we'll expose our keys to others, so they can go and use our LLM models, but we don't want it, right? So we'll have this secret key within self. Okay, now this is the project structure we have. So we'll know how this we'll see in the code as well, or in the IDE. Now what we'll have is, the main folder we'll have app.env requirement.txt. This is I created, so I can put what is the requirement, or when initially what I am going to build it, right? So I'll just put these things inside this requirement.txt. readme.md files is if we want to put some information of our project, how we can run that project, or how we, if there is some specific things which user cannot know. If someone is going to use our project, right, our repository, they do not know about this. Okay, so we have to add this inside the readme.md file. Now inside the app we'll have the main.py, from where our project will start. Then we'll have API routes. These are the endpoints where we are going to define, right? That is inside the routes folder. So we'll have one resume.py where we can see our endpoints. Then this is the core. This here we have to mention what are all the configurations will be there. We'll be defining inside the config.py file. Then services means whatever will be the business logic is there, that will be going inside the services folder. We'll have resume service, LLM service.py files. Then inside the utils, this is a helper classes, okay, which will help us. Just in simple words, these utils folder will be going to help us. Okay, so inside this one we have file router, PDF parser and docs parser, and this is a optional for now, so we are not going to use this one. Okay, now we'll go to our projects ID, and we'll see. Okay, so if you'll see here, inside the resume checker, or inside the main folder, we have app.env and .readme.md files. Inside the app we'll have API, core, service, utils folder, and inside this API we have routes, where it will go, it will routes, right? If we'll click on that link, where will go, this will decide, right? So this is the, that's why this is a routes folder. Then we'll have core, services and utils folder. That's what we discussed, right? So same thing is here. So now we are going to add one by one. Okay, let me close all this one. So we'll just open one file which we are going to change here. Okay, so first we'll go and put the details inside the .env file. In this file we are going to keep our data sage and prevent accidentally git commits. Okay, so we do not accidentally do the git commits over here. So here we have to provide our API key, and this is a secret one, so we'll not share with this with anyone. Okay, so we have to keep this as a private. I'll also put it later. And then after this, we know this is the environment file now. And what are the configurations we needed? We'll go inside the core folder, config file. So inside this one, we'll put the configurations of these things. Okay, so I'm just copy pasting it because I already have this. So what this will do is, this will load our this will load our environment variables from the environment file, and it will to the process environment. Okay, we have this .env file where we already have this secret API key secret is there. So what load underscore .env will do, it will load that environment variables from the .env file, and it will process the environment. Okay, so then os get environment, what this will do is, this will read our Gemini API key, what we already saved. If you'll see here, this is the Gemini API key. So this will go and read that Gemini API key variable. Once when the class is defined, this setting class will be defined, right? It will go and read it from there. Then this settings, what this will do is, this will create an instance of the settings. Okay, and we can then import settings elsewhere and access settings.gemini API key. Okay, so if will be this instance will be getting created, then we can use this Gemini API key. So what is the next file? Now we'll be going to create the file parsing layer. Okay, so for that we'll go to the file router. So what this will do is, if we'll see our project structure, what we mentioned it over there. Okay, so that's how we are going step by step over there, right? So in this one, we mentioned it environment variable. We have environment variable, we are already done with environment variable setup. Then now file parsing layer, if we'll say about the file parsing layer, means will how that file will we can extract that data, right? So that is for the file parsing layer. So we are in the file parsing layer. If we'll see here, our first thing is we'll have resume file, then text extraction, right? So for that we need the parsing layer. Okay, let's get back us to the our ID. Now we are in the file router.py file. So inside this file we'll be going to add the data. What it will do is, it will detect the file types and routes to the correct parser. Okay, this file, just what it will do is, it will just detect that file type, whether it is a docs or PDFs, it will just detect it and it will go to the correct parser page. Whether we have to parse it as a PDF or docs, it will go to that process. Okay, and this process we are calling it as a dispatching logic. Okay, now we mentioned here it as a asynchronous, this is a method, and we make this method as a asynchronous method. So asynchronous means when our server processes one user's file or one resume, and it will upload and has to wait for the network, right? So we are going to connect with the LLM, so we have to wait it from the LLM to respond back us, right? So meanwhile our service will be waiting for that LLM to respond. So meanwhile it can handle the other request or other resume also instead of setting ideal. So that's why we are making it as a asynchronous. Okay, here we are just making, if our file name here if you'll see, yeah, so here we'll taking that as file, and then we'll be making this file is in the lower cases, and if file names that will be ending with the .pdf, then we'll be going for the this extract pdf method. If that file name will ends with the .docs, then we'll be going for the extract doc method. Okay, if suppose if that file extension is not .pdf, not .docs, then at that point of time it will be going to the else part, means whatever the file we got, that is the unsupported file format, we are not supporting that file format. Okay, so this is overall that part. Now we'll see how we can implement this extract pdf and extract docs part. So if we'll go for the PDF parser, so this is the PDF parser. So as a name suggests, right, this is PDF, so it's going to parse the PDF files. So here we'll have extract PDF, right? So this will going to the parse the extract. So what are the file is there, we are going to upload it, we'll be giving that as a input parameter for the method. So we'll get that file, and now we have to extract that data. So for that we are using the PDF plumber dependency, and it will open that file as PDF. Okay, and the in the PDF we'll have so many pages, right? So it will go one by one page, and it will extract that data, and we'll get that data in the text format, and it will come back to here. Okay, from here it is returning, and we'll come back here, so we'll get that we extracted that PDF file. Now we have the PDF file, then we'll go for the documents. So this is the docs parser. So if we'll see here in the file router, now we'll have docs parser as well. If the extension is .docx, then we'll be going for the docs parser. So you'll get the file as an input, and it will read that documents, and here the document is like in the docs folder, these things will be in the paragraph format. So it will go to the paragraphs, and it will extract that data and convert it into a text, and it will be going convert it into a string, and it will be going to return that data. Okay, so from here it will return also, it will also return that data. Okay, so now we pass that data in the PDF format and docs format. So these things are already done. Okay, so if we'll see here, so as we already I mentioned it that in the docs we'll have structured paragraphs, and it will extract each paragraph. Okay, so this, what is this means here? So this means is file means this is the raw file in stream inside the uploaded file. Inside the uploaded file we have this is this as a raw file stream. Then we'll have, it will go and read all the paragraphs. If we'll see this docs.paragraphs is a list of paragraphs object from the word document. Okay, and then it will, what it will do is it will join paragraphs text with a new line. With a new line it will be going to join that text. Okay, and this creates one string which contains all paragraphs text, which is separated by the lines. If we have 10 paragraphs, it will be, will be getting a 10 separated 10 paragraphs in the form of a string in a separated by these lines. Okay, one line gap will be there, then next paragraph, one line will be there, then next paragraph, like this it will be separated. Now we'll go that utils helpers are, we are already done. So now what we need to do is we have to put the business logics for this. So first we'll go for the LLM services. Okay, so as we know, this is the business logic which we are going to perform. So here we have to provide the which type of output we want it here, and also what are the prompts will be there, we have to mention it in this file. So now here what we are going to do is we are going to initialize our connection to the Google Gemini, and this client is our gateway to the Google Gemini, or we can say to the LLM models. This client is our gateway. And now how this is coming, this Gemini API key we already mentioned inside the .env file, so we can see it from over there. So here let me minimize this. Yeah, so this method we created as a analyze resume with LLM. Okay, so that LLM is going to analyze our resume. So we write it as a prompt. We have, you are an expert career consultant, analyze the resume and return only a valid JSON. So what it will provide is resume scores from 0 to 100, then eligible job roles with confidence and reason why he is confident on our job roles. He can, for the eligible job roles it will mention that reason as well. Then improvement suggestions, what are all the improvements we needed over here, it will return that one. And then structured resume data. Okay, so whatever resume data is there, it will return to us, and here we are going to format it. Okay, so maybe we'll ask this percentage, skills, everything in the percentage format. Okay, yeah, and then it will give us a score. Overall score is 0%, we mention it, so it will give us according to our, according to its research, it will provide us the scores in percentage. And same it's for the eligible roles. Whatever eligible roles, it will mention the roles and how much confidence will be there, it will mention it as well. And then what reason, as we discussed, right, we it has to provide the reason, so it will mention reason for us. And then what are all the improvements section will be over, it will mention it. And then we want to know whether it's providing us the correct details or not, so we can check our name, skills, experience and educations over here now. Okay. mm, yeah, so if we'll see, we mentioned it as a generate content. What it will do is it will send the request to the Gemini and will get the generated output, whatever the response that LLMs generated, right, that response will be getting it over here. And here for that models we are using Gemini 2.5 flash and content this prompt, right, we already write this prompt, so these two things we are providing to the LLMs. Okay, so what LLMs will do, or this model will do, it will analyze it. For example, if we provide one resume, what it will do is it will recognize the patterns, just like as names, like, so if we'll mention it as a Ankita, it will figure it out. Okay, this is a name. Okay, there is a role. Okay, this is a software engineer, it's recognized this as a role. And maps to schema. Okay, so it recognize these things and it will maps all these information to the schema, so it will fits that information into the requested JSON structure. This JSON structure we asked, right, so it will figure out that name, skills and experience, education, and then it will make it into the JSON format. Okay, sorry, from that fields it will be extracting our name, skills and all, then it will be returning the JSON output to us in the JSON format. And why it works well for this all these tasks, right, this is the question, how it knows this is a name, how it knows this is a skill, how it this is know this is the education. Okay, so this it's already knows. Okay, it have that context already, so it knows what duration means a job here. Okay, what context job means here, what is name here, what are all the roles here, so it is already understood all these things. Okay, and we asked for a JSON format, so LLM is already trained to generate JSON responses. Okay, so LLMs are already trained to generate the JSON responses, so they can generate the responses for us. Okay, so for them these templates, they'll be acting like an example or what we want, right, so they knows okay what we want, so according to that they'll generate the output. Now we'll go to the resume service. This is done, right, this is the model and contents, sorry, prompt we provided to the model, and it will extract that data or take that data, and then it will strip that data and it will store that into the content. If this is the things which we are just modifying to make sure that okay, whatever the JSON responses we are getting, that will be in the well structured format. Okay, now we'll go for the resume service.py. So from here we are going to process our resume. So this is, we can call it as a orchestration layer. Okay, this will delegates to other services. So this is a high level a coordinator between the process. Okay, so if you'll see here, we'll just have extract text from file. Okay, this will going to the router one. So this will go to the file router, and it from that file router will process that PDF files, right? So analyze resume with LLM. Okay, so it will go to the services, LLM services, and from here it will analyze the resume. So step by step it's doing it, right? First we'll be going to extract our text, then LLM will analyze it, and it will return the response to us, right? So this is like a mediator, okay, or this is a service which will highly coordinating the things. Okay, now we want API layer. So or API layer in the sense we want endpoints to hit, right? So with the help of these endpoints we'll get the outputs. So yes, so this is the router. Okay, router, API router. What it will do is it will create a new router instance for endpoints. Okay, this will just create one instance so we can access these endpoints. So we have one post endpoint, that is resume analyze. Okay, inside this one we'll have this file, and we are going to process our resume, file, and we'll be returning it whether success and what are all the results are there. We are going to return it, and we are done mostly. But in the main.py file, okay, we need this file, right? Because this is the main file from where our application will start. Yeah, so we'll have this. What it will do is it will create a fast API app and register all these routes. Okay, so in this fast API app name, it will create, or it will include whatever the routers is there, right? So they'll register, it will register all the routers inside this fast API. Okay, now we'll run this application and we'll see it how it is working. Okay, so let me just add quickly my API key and then we'll see it. So we'll have everything. Now we'll run this one. Okay, so yeah, so our applications got started, and now will hit the endpoint and we'll see it. So we have to hit this endpoint, and if we'll see, we can see here that resume analyzer. We'll go this and we'll try it out, and when we'll be trying it out, this is the required file what we mentioned. So we have to choose file. This is a sample file which I'm just going to execute it. Let's see what will get the responses here. Still it is loading, just give it us few seconds. So it will load that, or we can say it will run, and it will go to the extract that PDF file, this PDF file, and it will go to the LLM, and then LLM will give us the response, right? So if we'll see here, we are getting that responses. So this status is success, and overall score of this resume is 15%, skills 40%, experience 0%, education is 10%. It means it doesn't have any experiences. Now what are all the eligible roles is there? So they are the entry level graphic designer, junior UI designer, entry level web designer. And how means how will be confidence, right? Because if we'll be seeing that, okay, if some company will be seeing, or they open that positions, and they'll be checking our resume whether that got selected or not, so that confidence is 30, it's very low. So the reason, the resume list foundational graphic design software skills like these Adobe, Photoshop, with high self-accessed proficiency. However, the complete absence of work experience, a portfolio or a specific project example. And then for junior UI developer, entry level web designer, we have reason as well. Then what are the improvements we can make it? These are the improvement, or these are the suggestions from the our model. Okay, and then we'll see what is the name. So this is Blessica Juan. Then what are the skills she have? That is Adobe Photoshop, Dreamweaver, proficiency. What she mentioned, right? These are the proficiencies she mentioned. So this is showing here. And now what the experience is there? What education? So she has master's degree, bachelor science, and diploma. So these things we are seeing it here, right? So like this, it will generate the response for us. Yeah, so these are the layers. We already completed it. Environment layer, then file parsing. We created one utility folder where we are parsing our files. Then services class, we are analyzing that data. LLM is analyzing our data. Then API layer, and API layer means routes folder, and then application entrance point, that is main layer, and after that we run that application and tested it. Okay, so these are the implementation. It means we need a API key or existing LLM model, so we can use that LLM model and we'll get the response, or according to our use case we'll implement it. Okay, next video we'll see for the RAG. Okay.